Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Before we get into today's news, just a quick reminder that we now have a resource page attached to RealCatholicTV.com containing additional news stories and other resources from our stories right here, as well as commentary on current events in Catholic culture happening all around the world. To check it out, go to realcatholictvblog.blogspot.com by clicking on the link right next to the video screen. Now for today's news. FDA demands review of birth control. A hormone used in oral contraceptives that increases the risk of blood clots has grabbed the attention of the Food and Drug Administration. The New York Times cites recent reports by the British Medical Journal that point out oral contraceptives with the hormone drospirenone are 2 to 3 times, that's 200 to 300% more likely to cause blood clots compared with other birth control methods. Any oral contraceptive can cause blood clots along with a huge list of other degenerative side effects. But the Yaz line of products created by Bayer is under scrutiny for its use of drospirenone. The FDA has begun an evaluation of the contraceptive's risks involving 800,000 people that will be complete later this summer. Texas court denies gender bender. A Texas district court has ruled against a man who underwent a sex change operation to become a woman shortly before he married a man. When the man he married died, a legal battle ensued over his estate between the dead man's mother and the transsexual. The court ruled in favor of the mother, saying that there was no valid marriage because marriage is between one man and one woman, and the transsexual is still a man, despite surgery. The judge cited a previous court ruling that a person's sex is defined at birth and that nothing can change it. National Catholic adoption efforts threatened. Now a bill is being introduced into Congress that could eradicate Catholic adoption and foster care efforts across the whole country. The Every Child Deserves a Family Act was introduced by Democrat Congressman Pete Stark of California and currently has 52 co-sponsors in the House. It would ban what homosexual activists call discrimination in foster care placement, forcing institutions like Catholic Charities to either hand over children to same-sex couples or shut down completely. Local legislations have already closed Catholic adoption agencies in Massachusetts, Illinois, and San Francisco, following a pattern just like Britain's, which closed its last Catholic foster care institution in the country last month. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
AmeriCorps busts Planned Parenthood lobbyers. The charity group AmeriCorps, which helps rebuild houses and mentor the young, has kicked out 2 women for lobbying for Planned Parenthood. The funny thing is, it was a letter sent by Planned Parenthood that exposed them. Suspicions were raised when Planned Parenthood sent a letter to AmeriCorps headquarters proposing that the 2 groups join forces to influence college kids. Further investigation exposed the 2 women for violating its regulations. 100,000 Fight for Life. A pro-life organization has sent over 100,000 petitions to the Senate asking them to introduce a bill forbidding tax-funded abortions in every department of the federal government. Penny Nance, CEO of Concerned Women for America, supported her group's effort, citing a poll in which 60% of Americans say they did not want to pay for abortions, abortion activists included. She also points out the issue of abortion nearly killed Obamacare and would have if so-called pro-life Democrats hadn't changed their minds at the last minute. Early April polls by CNN also show Americans unfavorable to tax-funded abortions by a margin of 61 to 35%. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where Michael will point out the idiocy of Notre Dame's continued efforts to portray itself as pro-life. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless.